for the new season.
Thank
When
you.
we spoke at the back end of last year, you were saying you didn't think it was going to be much of a break. Have we managed to, or have you been busy?
It's a strange one, I think, for a manager. Mister will tell you, I've had a break, she'll tell me I haven't had a break. You tend to find you're on the phone. We had a board meeting or recruitment meeting, should we say, with all the owners once a week, and me and Ryan spoke nearly every day, and me and Ross spoke 5 times a day, and the staff were the same. I think you're always conscious of the fact that you never want to be left behind, and that's a mentality that you need. And I think even though you do need a break every now and then to completely disconnect, I think having that opportunity to be away from what is the norm, being here, that is enough for me to recover and get ready to go. And I think we made some really good signings. I think we're down the road with some really good players as well. We're in a good place. Controlling the budget is important. We can't get carried away with that. We've got to make sure that everything fits the purpose and the structure for the football club. And that's what we've got to work hard to make sure that we do that in different ways. And obviously the players that have moved on, we wish them all the luck in the world. We have no animosity or any negativity towards them. And we're in a good place. Training started really well as well.
What do you miss most about having the lads around, and is it good to...
I don't miss the lads. Training ground and stadiums are better without footballers than with them. No, it's just the group of people that we have. We've got some real good people that work around the building. I think the one big change, obviously, as people would have seen with the social media, has been at Littleton Road. I think that makes an enormous shift of mentality and shift of professionalism and shift of desire and a sign of intent, really. And everybody who's worked around the clock, and especially Ryan, who's done everything he possibly can to try and make that happen. It's nice, and the stories and the history of that place almost immerses itself in the birth of this football club. And it's nice the fact that we're training and playing in Salford, which is important.
Can you talk us through what your aims are for the next few weeks? Everyone's got their own ideas on pre-season, what it is. What are your aims, and how are we going about
that? Challenge each other, strain on the body, mentally and physically. Create relationships, have an understanding of what brings the best out of people. I think I felt a bit of a fraud last season. I felt it was a real learning curve for me. I've never been in that situation before where I've had to go into a football club and change your philosophy of and not to be arrogant enough in the way I want to play to think that that's the only way. So for me, it's starting to find a culture that fits who and what we will be. So it's finding them relationships and trying to eke out different playing styles that suit the recruitment philosophy. I think it all started really well. I'm happy. I left yesterday, spoke to Ryan on the phone, and even when I seen Nicky this morning, I loved yesterday. I felt like it was a real football club. The training ground, the people, everything was just, it was really, really good. Any manager will say that. I get that as well.
You say strain on the body. There's a lot of fixtures in pre-season, and a lot of different levels of opposition as well. Is that part of that?
Well, they're only ever judged. No footballer is judged on what they do in a training pitch. That's a support mechanism behind performance. They're only ever judged in between the white lines when the referee blows the whistle. So the quicker we can replicate some of these games, the better. As you've seen, the games in Ireland will be difficult. Listen, the Crusaders game is obviously testimonial, so that'll have its own different way of looking at that. I won't really use that as any judgment towards any of our players. When we start playing UCD, who are a very athletic young side in the League of Ireland, that'll be a challenge. If we come back here and we play, I think it's Bamber Bridge, isn't it, and FC United, which is that FC United one we're looking forward to. And then we've got Warrington and Altrincham, is that right? I could be wrong. And then we start building our way up into real competitive games. Having Everton here is a big one for us. We hope that it'll be full. So from a revenue perspective, that'll help as well. And then Preston will be a really challenging game. And then building into Rochdale away before the season starts. The fixture list isn't it? You can never control that, and I don't really worry about it. But if you look at the first 4 games, I think if you looked at the favourites for the league, I think we're playing all of the favourites right at the beginning of the season. So that's a real good way of I think starting.
And squad-wise, you touched it for some really good signings. We've heard from you about Steph, but what about Cole and bringing Dan back on in permanent?
But Dan, listen, I think every time we're building a squad, for every senior player that we sign, we look to balance that out with a player that is for the future as well, that has future value. So you bring in the likes of a Cole, you need a Dan. So the different age levels of the two players we're bringing in of Cole's age, and then we brought Jez in last year, who's getting better. Kyrell Jr, Kelly was a real big signing for us, re-signing him. So we've certainly got so many assets within the building for the future, and now it's all found that balance and making sure the people that we bring in help them young players develop. Cole was someone that since scored 20 goals in 3 consecutive seasons it was, and I spoke to Gary about it. It's a player that he started to sign numerous times. So to get that one done so quickly after Big Matt leaving, that he left a big void for us, as you'd imagine. That was a necessity for us to know that you've got a striker that is more than capable of getting 20 plus goals next season. So that was important. I think Dan was unfairly judged. He played at right back a lot for us last season because obviously Shep being injured was a difficult one for us to take. And we had another injury in that position as well. I think Deck had a few issues. Ethan had a few problems as well. So we left ourselves with 3 right backs and you had to fill in there for us, and did it with really well. So we're happy. I think there's still 3 or 4 players that we've got to bring in to make us really, really competitive.
And is it similar again with that age and experience with London and Kev?
Yeah, that's important. That every senior player that you do bring in, you balance out for youth and future value, because obviously the growth of the football club will be in the future value players that we bring in or hold on to. We've got to make sure that from the financial point of view that we build a sustainable football club, and that's important that we have that balance.
And just lastly, obviously the golden day is going to be 10th of August when we step out against Port Vale. What are you hoping to see this season from that moment all around? So players on the pitch, what's going on after?
We have to act like we want to be promoted. But talking about promotion is the most ridiculous and ludicrous thing I think in the world to consistently ask of. That's in May. People always speak about the future. The future's so far away that we forget about the present. And the present is how hard you're going to work today, how hard you're going to work tomorrow. And when the next day comes, what you're going to put into that. All we care about is Port Vale. Once that's done, who's next? And that mentality will build you up enough points if you get enough right to get the promotion, and that'll be earned. People say there's too much talking of success. That's a cop out for me. Your actions in these individual moments will support what we speak of. I like some of the players with the steely mentality to want that, but it's our responsibility to make sure they don't forget how important the present is.